The Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Rights Commission has bemoaned the deaths of initiates during the 2023 initiation season and wants punitive action against those implicated in wrongdoing. So far, over 20 initiates have died in the Eastern Cape alone. The Commission says a lack of accountability and disregard of the rule of law are bringing this age-old practice into disrepute. We speak to Professor David Mosoma, who is the CRL's chairperson. Thank you very much, Prof, for your time this afternoon. So let's start with the initiation indaba that was attended by a number of stakeholders. There were a number of resolutions. If you could just remind our viewers of what the resolutions were at the time and what the purpose of the indaba was.
Yes, the purpose of indaba was really to bring all the stakeholders to try to craft a way forward with regard to how can we bring to a halt or to an end what appears to be a season after season deaths of our initiates. And we were in one mind, one heart when we took over reaching resolutions, some of which really meant that the traditional leaders should take full accountability to the initiation schools, because in terms of the Customary Act of 2021, Section 28, the responsibility to convene the schools really lie with the traditional leaders. And of course, the role of the CRL in terms of oversight, because what we do is to make sure that the protection and promotion of culture for people to enjoy and celebrate their culture is really maintained. And therefore, our role as protectors and promoters also places upon the traditional leaders the power of accountability and responsibility, because it is a culture that we really have to cherish and protect. And of course, we agreed that the working relationship between the traditional leaders and the law enforcement agencies. We also talked about the use of drones to identify the illegal schools and close them down. Also agreed that when initiation season is approaching, the advert in the local newspapers should also be made to identify and alert communities about the best initiation schools in the region, so that people should not send their children to illegal initiation schools. And all Prof, of that really meant...
If you'd please allow me to just join you there. Before there were resolutions, there would have been issues that were put on the table, and some of those issues include the issues of illegal initiation schools. What is the understanding of why illegal initiation schools continue to thrive in 2023 going into 2024? What is it that you found during your engagements with various stakeholders who would have told you, some of them being parents, of why illegal initiation schools continue to thrive? This is nothing new.
Yes, indeed. One of the reasons is the commercialization of the culture, of traditional practice of initiation, where in terms of that area, a young person who has been in the initiation school, after 3 years or so, also qualifies to open his own initiation school. Some of them do so without experience, at least to catch in. And as a result of that, some of the illegal initiation schools are done into the deep areas of the region where they cannot be seen, which is why the results of death sometimes comes from there as a result of lack of experience. I think the main thing is really about the commercialization and of people who actually do it on their own without seeking permission from the traditional leader. And that we understand that the law enforcement agency must take full charge of that. Because if something is illegal, it is incumbent upon the law enforcement agencies to make the law stick so that it becomes a deterrent for people to do it again, and impose heavy sentences on individuals who are found to be on the wrong side of the law.
Mm-hmm. Prof, what then did you find when it comes to why families or why some young people would actually go to the illegal initiation schools? Because as they are cashing in, some of them, it is said that they are much cheaper than the other initiation schools that you spoke about a little bit earlier on that are legitimate. And so is there an understanding of people's socioeconomic status that would push them in that kind of direction? If there is, what is the solution there?
That part of the cost did not, as far as I can remember, it did not feature. Because if it featured, then we would have dealt with it. But to some extent, New York is looking at standardization of costs of the initiation schools across the country, which is the National Oversight Initiation Body. So the issue is taken up at that level. And until they come up with a policy on the cost, then the issue of the cost may remain to be a problem. But that did not feature. A resolution was not even taken about the nature of that because it did not feature as a problem. But the issue is that, remember, that the only person, the authority responsible for convening initiation school is the traditional leader. So anything that has not gone through that the vetting and the permission of the traditional leader is regarded as illegal. And when it is illegal, it doesn't matter how cheap it may be. It's not allowed to actually operate. So persons who are found in that regard have to be arrested and, of course, face the full might of the law.
During the Indaba, was the issue of peer pressure amongst young people brought up at all?
Yes, indeed, because the pristine tradition of initiation is a pride of the community. If you have not gone to initiation school, you are regarded not as a man. So the crowning jewel to be a man is to have gone through the initiation. Then you qualify as a man in that regard. So anyone who has not gone there, it doesn't matter how old the person may be, is regarded as a boy. So there is a pressure in that regard. So if a friend has gone to the initiation school and you have not gone there, and it's your friend, you are regarded as a boy in the face of your friend, of course in the face of the community as such. And leadership is also given on the basis of that. You know something about what it means to be a man, and the initiation school is the right place to be.
Prof, is that not problematic? Is there a direct link between that heavy blanket of you're not a man, so you don't understand the business of men, which is there a direct correlation between those words and young men then going to illegal initiation schools in the name, while we are hooking on peer pressure, of being a man?
The blame really is not about the peer pressure. The peer pressure has its role. The issue is that to address the issue of peer pressure, one must be directed to the right initiation school. Because the challenge is, you go to an illegal school, you die. And you go to a legal initiation school, you are much better than compared to the risk of going to an illegal initiation school. So we are encouraging people, and communities and parents, please do not take your children to an illegal initiation schools. It doesn't matter how cheap it may be. It doesn't matter how peer pressure it may become. But what is important is that your child must go and come back alive, which is the motto of the Eastern Cape, a special coined by the community in this regard.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your time this afternoon. Professor David Mosoma is with the CRL.